Boost about to come online. Hostile explosive seeker mine detected. Hostile defender drone detected. Hostile firefly detected. Hostile explosive seeker mine detected. Boost has been taken by allies. Seeker mine detected. System disrupted.
Halfway to the finish. This tab on specialization.
Hostile stinger hive detected. An agent.
This around. They'll be pulled out.
Seeker mine detected. Vital signs critical. Immediate medical assistance.
Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today I'm delivering you what I'm dubbing the Ninja. As you might have been able to tell from the footage, I'm incorporating the new Exodus exotic gloves into this build, and that is truly where the idea began. As soon as I saw they were adding in a smoke bomb and stealth exotic to the game, I was like, oh, definitely gotta make a PvP build for that. In case you were unaware, you can pick up the new Exodus gloves from the Burden of Truth Season Pass. You get them fairly early on, so it shouldn't be too painful of a grind. But yeah, I had this build idea on paper, and it's always immensely gratifying to find out that it works well in gameplay too. Something important to note, this is a stealth and infiltration build through and through, right? I'm not promoting that this build is suddenly going to help you win those 1v3, 1v4 fights that you find yourself in, but it can definitely hold its own in a 1v1, as we'll get to. But it truly shines in doing flank attacks, hit and run maneuvers. It really allows you to stalk the battlefield and toy with your opponents. It's super fun. So, without further ado, let's get to the breakdown. Alright, so here is the build. I'm going to kind of work backwards as I go through this because I want to start with the start of the show. As I said, that was the new Exodus gloves that just got released with this season. These things are pretty damn neat, and as soon as I saw what their talent was going to be back when they were revealed, I knew that I had to make a build in PvP with these. The talent is Smokescreen. On armor break, drop a smoke bomb at your feet, receive 100% pulse resistance, and hide your nameplate for 2 seconds. So right away that sets this up to be a very stealth focused piece, really leaning into evasion and infiltration, and that's what I've tried to construct the rest of the build around. So these gloves come with weapon damage, crit chance, and crit damage, and again, keep that smokescreen talent in mind because that is really the cornerstone for everything else here. I first then decided to pair those with a unbreakable chest piece. The unbreakable talent, as a lot of you know, gives you armor back upon armor break, and so in combination that means that while I'm in PvP, when my armor breaks, not only does a smoke cloud go out, distorting the enemy's view, I get 100% pulse resistance and my nameplate hidden for 2 seconds, but then at the same time, I also get 50% of my armor back, and that means if I want to, I can keep shooting, and the enemy does not know that I've gotten that armor back because my nameplate is hidden for that 2-second window. So that's pretty strong. Just keep in mind that once that ability happens and that like double combo goes off, Unbreakable is going to have a 60-second cooldown, whereas the Exodus gloves have a 40-second one. So you really just want to be mindful of your cooldowns on your HUD and be sure that you're saving that trick for the right situations. Beyond that, I then went and paired those two things with the System Corruption gear set. Again, this is very focused on stealth, infiltration, those kind of hit and run tactics, and so it seemed perfect to pair with it. The 2 piece is 15% armor on kill, the 3 piece is 40% disrupt and pulse resist, and as a lot of you likely know, the 4 piece is hack step protocol. It replaces your armor kit with an instant use one that gives you a bunch of bonus armor and bonus damage. It also hides your nameplate for 5 seconds, and so, no worry, we'll come back to the pieces, but with those things and the decoy when you're in the dark zone, just think about how many different like stealth abilities we have in our toolkit here. Regardless of whatever else is active, when your armor breaks and you have these 2 abilities up, you're getting your nameplate hidden and pulse resistance and armor back from these 2. Whenever my decoy is up, that's going to remove my nameplate and basically act as a really great stealth tool. And if I ever need to disappear in a pinch, I can pop the System Corruption medkit, and that will also hide my nameplate and give me all of those other bonuses. So hopefully you can kind of begin to see the philosophy behind the build here. I'm really just going for maximum amounts of evasion, stealth, and damage. On top of all of those things, I did still want to make sure that I was getting as much damage as possible, because while all of these stealth tactics are great, I still need to put people down, right? And so that is why I went for the Flatline and Technician combo. I'm using the Lexington here with the Flatline talent. This is a really great no ramp up damage talent, just 15% amplified damage. I'm using the linked laser pointer from the Technician specialization to get that. Now typically Technician is not that great for PvP, but because the medkit does not matter, because System Corruption is overriding it anyway, we can basically use Technician for free, right? And so these 2 in combo is one of my big damage sources. The secondary and the pistol totally don't matter, that is up to you. And then to quickly run through the pieces on the mask, again, System Corruption, weapon damage, crit damage. I do have 1 pulse resistance mod, because with the 40% from the gear set bonus from that mod and from my specialization bonus, that means that by base we also have 100%, or I would if I had a 10% mod, pulse resistance, and so that just means that we are hidden altogether to begin with, so that's great. All right, and then moving back for the chest piece again, we have 1 piece of Fenris for that assault rifle damage, armor, crit damage, crit chance, crit damage with Unbreakable. This is a good time to mention that my total distribution is 3 weapon damage cores and 3 armor cores. I found that to be a really good blend to allow me to get in, do damage, and run away, and still have a little bit of survivability to get out of those situations. But as always, I encourage experimentation. That distribution is totally up to you. For the holster, again, System Corruption with weapon damage and crit chance here. For the backpack, again, we are using System Corruption, armor, crit chance, and a crit chance mod. This does give us the multi-threaded execution amplification talent, which just increases the bonus armor gained from the system medkit from 50 to 100. And while this is a great talent and I'm happy to have it, it's also kind of required if you want to have this kind of a setup, because we need these 2 slots open for Exodus and Unbreakable. Right, we already went over the gloves. Lastly, for the knee pads, last piece of System Corruption, armor and crit chance on here. To quickly take a look at my crit chance and damage breakdown across the entire build, this is what we're looking at. Not the very best stats ever, but also not the worst. Do keep in mind that when and if you go into conflict, these will all go down. The crit chance will go down by 10 and the crit damage by 20. And so without the watch stats being applicable in conflict, just swap around your mods if you want to change that overall distribution. Right, and then lastly, talking about the skills, I always like having something like the EMP Sticky Bomb on hand for a quick stagger mechanic and to be able to get out of certain situations, so that stays with me no matter which content I'm in. This slot, however, if you're in the dark zone, I highly recommend the decoy, again, to be able to hide yourself even more and run around the map undetected, but decoys do next to nothing in conflict, given there is no radar in there, and it's already quite easy to get yourself hidden, so when I'm in there, I tend to put on a revive hive just in case there's an opportunity for me to revive myself. A very quick note in PSA that I wanted to pass along as well. It's very possible that the devs might have gone in and already fixed this, depending on when you're watching this video in the future, but given the season just began, as of when I'm making this video, I wanted to let you all know about a current visual bug going on with this build. You'll notice that when the Smoke and Unbreakable combo pops in gameplay, the cooldown suddenly resets on your System Corruption armor kit. This tripped me up multiple times in the heat of battle, as I thought I suddenly didn't have it ready to use anymore. In actuality, it's just a weird visual bug. Despite the cooldown meter resetting, the armor kit is still available to use, as I demonstrate in the clip, so I just wanted to shout this out to hopefully alleviate any confusion you may run into. Cheers. Alright everybody, well that is the build. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed the breakdown and presentation here. I have been having a ton of fun with this loadout and this new exotic, so I would love to get your guys' feedback on this build. Does it look like something you would want to run? Is there anything you would maybe change up with it? Perhaps you have different ideas for the Exodus gloves altogether. Whatever it may be, as always, leave your your thoughts below. I look forward to reading through them. That's all I've got on this one though, folks. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. RogueGold. Ow.